Hi, we're going to cover Chapter 6, the chapter on personal pronouns. This is perhaps one of the most difficult chapters that I find students have because we're taught to say things a certain way as we're growing up, but as we actually dig into what the rules are for grammar using pronouns, you're going to see sometimes what you think is right may not be. Okay, so these are the objectives we're going to cover in this PowerPoint presentation. And this is the same thing as you'll see in the notes online in Angel. Okay, first of all, you're probably going to want to memorize this chart. This is going to be the biggest tool that will help you. The pronouns come in these three cases. You have a subjective case, an objective case, and a possessive case. And notice that I've highlighted part of each of these names to maybe help you remember what they are. Subjective case pronouns are used as a subject of a verb. Objective or object is used as the object of the verb. And then possessive means they possess something. Okay, down here you'll see a little note saying that the subjective case used to be known as the nominative case, and you might also see this in some of your websites if you go venture off into getting extra help for pronouns. Nominative and subjective are the same thing. Okay, this is also broken down by the person. If it's the first person or the person speaking, I would say I, or we, or me, or us, my, or our. If I were in the second person or the person being spoken to, I would say you most of the time. How about if I'm saying possessive, your or yours? And notice that these are the same words used singularly or plurally. Okay, and then there's also the third person or person or things being spoken of. So if you're speaking of someone, you might say he did this or they did this, and so on. So if you can memorize this little chart here, it's going to save you a lot of time and it's going to help you a lot with using the correct pronoun. By the way, that chart is in your textbook as well. Okay, when you're talking about subjective case pronouns, they're almost always used as subjects of the verbs. Subjective, subject of verbs. Here's an example. He is the supervisor. Okay, so he is the subject of the verb is. Since this is a subject of a verb, we would use the subjective case pronoun in this instance. The second part of the sentence is we hired last month. We is the subject of the verb hired, so we would use the subjective case pronoun in this instance too. Another one, we asked if they were coming. We is the subject of the verb asked, or the one doing the asking, and they is the subject of the verb were, because it's they who were coming. So if you can remember this, this will help you a lot with using the correct pronoun. Okay, objective case, they can be used as objects of verbs and prepositions. And we know what prepositions are, and we're going to study them a little bit more in a later chapter. Objective case are objects of verbs. So in this one, the manager called us. The manager is the subject of this sentence. The verb is called, and then us is the object of the verb. It's who's being called or who the action's being taken on was the object. We told them. We are the subject, and told is the verb. Them is who is being told. So they are receiving the action. So they are the object. We would use objective case pronouns for these. That desk is for her. the desk is the subject of the sentence. Our verb is, and here is a preposition. So we're using the objective case pronoun here. Okay, finally, requests are sent to him. Requests are the subject. Are is the verb. Sent is the verb, and to is a preposition. Him. So we would use the objective form of this pronoun. Okay, here's a little tip. When the words between, like, but, and except are used as prepositions, be sure to use the objective case pronoun for the object of the preposition. These words can also be used as other parts of speech, such as but can be used as a conjunction, and so on. So this is only if they're being used as a preposition. Here's some example sentences. No one but, will we say I or me, has the combination. Okay, so we're using the word but here as a preposition. So we want to use the objective case pronoun for the object of the preposition. So which one is that? Well, it would have to be me. No one but me has the combination. Okay, workers like Brad. Okay, and this is the word like is being used as a preposition in this case. And so we would have to use an objective case pronoun. So workers like Brad, and will we use she or her? We're going to use her, the objective case pronoun in this instance, because this is following this rule up here. Okay, and then finally, let's keep this between you and I or me. Between is being used as a preposition in this instance. So we would use the objective case pronoun, which would be me. Let's keep this between you and me. Okay, and then possessive case pronouns. They show ownership or special relationships. They do not require apostrophes, so don't go putting any apostrophes in here. These are already in the possessive case, or they already show possession. Okay, so down here we have hers is the shiny red Jeep. It belongs to her, so it's hers. We would not put an apostrophe here because this is already possessive. Our report is here. Where is yours? And these are both showing possession or relationship. Its hood makes the machine less noisy. We don't put an apostrophe here because that would make it the contraction it is. It's like this is already in the possessive case. And then theirs is the house with the white trim. This is just a plural of the possessive pronoun there. It's already in the possessive form, so we do not need an apostrophe here. Okay, so don't confuse contractions with possessive pronouns. There's an exit at the rear. This is a contraction for there is. If we were talking about people, we would have THEIRS, and we would not need an apostrophe anyway. Okay, although it's late, we must finish. We use the apostrophe because this is a contraction for it is, although it is late. So if you can read the sentence as that, and it is makes sense, then you would use an apostrophe because it's not showing any possession. Okay, some of the challenges we find using personal pronouns. Sometimes you have compound subjects in a sentence. Well, very often you do. So when we have that situation, we ignore the extra pronoun or noun and related words to determine the pronoun case. So if I had the sentence, only the manager and I, if I said, if I ignored the words the manager and, I would actually be saying only I will attend. I would not say only me will attend. Okay, Mrs. Kuwata assigned Mike and me to the job. We would not use I. Because if we left out Mike and, it would say Mrs. Kuwata assigned me to the job, not I to the job. So if you can follow this rule using compound subjects, it'll help you pick out the right case. Sorry, I forgot to do my little scrolly bar here. Okay, comparative. Sometimes you're going to be comparing things in a sentence. So if this is the case, you finish the implied comparison in order to determine the pronoun case. Okay, for instance, no one works harder than she. You would not say her. You would go ahead and in your head add the extra implied words. And in this case, no one works harder than she works. If you used her here, it would sound funny. So if you can in your head use that implied comparison, it's going to help you pick this correct word out for you. Okay, smoking annoys me as much as him. Okay, to make this make sense, we would say smoking annoys me as much as it annoys him. These words are not in the sentence, they're just implied. So if we can say this in our head, him makes more sense. Okay, so let's see which one is correct. My husband loves money as much as I, or my husband loves money as much as me. My husband loves money as much as he loves me. So we could add those two words and we would not, I would not make sense. My husband loves money as much as he loves I? No, no way. The only way this would make sense would be my husband loves money as much as I do. That would make sense. Okay, another one is the appositive. Positives rename or explain previous mentioned nouns or pronouns. So there already has to be something there before. And the appositive is renaming or explaining it. When pronouns are used in apposition, you temporarily ignore the appositive. We, clerks, have our own union. We would ignore clerks temporarily. So we would say, we have our own union. We would not say us have our own union, or us. So then us clerks would not make sense. Okay? The lockers are for us girls. We would ignore girls because us and girls are meaning the same thing. And so we would say the lockers are for us. The lockers are for we would not make sense. So this is a good little trick on picking out the correct pronoun. Okay, reflexive pronouns. You do not use self or selves to end a pronoun unless it refers to a previously stated noun or pronoun in the same sentence. So in this instance, I myself reflects back to I. Place the order. In this one, my friend and I will apply. We would not say my friend and myself because it would not reflect back to me being mentioned earlier in the sentence. The male is for Lisa and him. You would not use himself because there's nothing himself reflects back to in the sentence. So remember, these always have to reflect back to something that's previously mentioned before you can use self or selves. You'll hear this spoken incorrectly often, but we do not want to use it. In business English, of course, we're going to talk properly. Okay, there's going to be another part to this coming up, so look for part 2.